Alrighty, we're back. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing good, having some good sleep, eating some good snacks, maybe watching some fun stuff on Netflix. Alright, so let's get to work. Today we're going to talk about your second writing prompt. So again, I want to take time to model for you how the writing should look when you're done, because writing is tricky. It's not just reading and bubbling an answer. Somebody really needs to show you how to write well. So I want to take some time before you do any writing for each week and do a screencast just like this one, just to kind of show you a little bit of what it looks like to make sure your paragraphs have all the components in them. And then eventually this will become your thesis statement as you get to longer and longer pieces of writing moving into next year. Okie doke, so here we go. This week we have the prompt, allowing chewing gum in school. So taking a look at the story you had to read. So for one thing, if you have not yet read the story, you're going to want to stop right now and go ahead and read the story, because you have to use some text evidence and use some connections that you make to the text in your writing. So again, if you haven't yet read the text, make sure you go ahead and pause and take a look at this text. And again, it's your reading story for the week. So there is a reading task for Storyworks, and there's questions that go with it. I would suggest doing the reading task first before you do the writing task. So, assuming you have already read Allow Chewing Gum in School, let's go ahead and get started. So your writing prompt this week, again, is very similar to last week. You have to write a beautiful paragraph answering the prompt question, allowing chewing gum in school. So I'm going to ask you to think back to what you worked on with your reading prompt, which was this activity where you had to think about some reasons the kids gave to have chewing gum in school, and think of some reasons for the principal saying no to this request. So again, towards the bottom, you had to create 3 different reasons to support your argument or your opinion of yes or no to chewing gum in school. Now, I'll be honest, I kind of am on the fence here. So I went with a yes and no for my side. I went yes for the reason that I chew gum all the time in school. And if I'm sitting there chewing gum and I'm telling you, no, you can't chew gum, there's something wrong with that, right? Because I respect that you're responsible, mature kids and you can make decisions and choices for yourself. However, I'm on the no side because I look at the principal and what he had to say in the article, and he made some good points. For example, his big one was that not every kid will tidy up with his or her gum. Wads of gum ruin floors and carpets and clog drinking fountains. And I don't know about you, but that's really gross to bend down to get a drink in a drinking fountain and find a big wad of gum in there. So I can totally understand the principal's opinion that not every kid will tidy up with their gum. And I put my carpet. Because yes, many times, and I'm sure you've noticed this, on our carpet in our classroom, there are wads of gum. And unfortunately, there is no way to clean that once it gets stepped on into the carpet. It is there forever. And it's really gross to have this gross blob stuck in the carpet forever. And you know that it's somebody's gum, and they could have just put it in the trash can. And why did they just put it on the floor? Or I don't know, but it's pretty frustrating. So I can really understand the principal's perspective that yes, it really does ruin a lot of school property. Take a look under a table. You're going to find some really disgusting wads of gum under there that rather than get up and throw it in a trash can, somebody just stuck it under the table. And that's really disgusting. So yes, I'm definitely for the no when it comes to not every kid will clean up after themselves. I did also have this great quote that I pulled from the text down here for number 3 also, that I thought was really powerful because it gave a number. And that's always a really good example of, okay, this is a concrete fact. This school in Glendale, California, and again, it's right in the text, spent $2,500 just cleaning up the gum. There's so many ways you can spend that money: repairing Chromebooks, purchasing new Chromebooks, buying books for the library, as the principal says in this note. So again, I'm on the fence with this. I go for no, for the reason that it is just so messy and not everyone is going to clean up after themselves. It is a lot of money to fix and repair damage done with gum. However, I chew gum all the time in school, so I kind of had a fourth option here. You don't have to have a fourth option. Again, I'm just modeling for you what this could look like when you do your own writing. So what popped into my head was maybe a possible solution. And my solution was, I know at our school, at Hope School, we have level 3s, and we try to give those level 3s privileges. So if we were going to take away the privilege of gum, what if we had level 3s? That could be one of their level 3 privileges, is that they could chew gum. So level 3s can chew gum. So again, that was just a possible solution to this problem, and something that might be really powerful to put in your writing in the conclusion. Okay, so we've got some really good points that we want to put in our writing. We're going to talk a little bit about how the teachers chew gum all the time at school, and we do teach big kids who tend to be more responsible and are able to make those decisions of if they can or cannot chew gum and be responsible with it. However, there is the fact that, oh my goodness, my carpet, and the fact that a lot of kids unfortunately don't take that responsibility, and it does wind up on the carpet or on the furniture, or even worse, in the drinking fountain. Yuck. And then we have the fact that it's so expensive to try to clean it up. Like I said, there's no way to get that out of carpet. You really just have to replace the carpet. But what about a solution? Level 3s can chew gum? I don't know, it's a possibility, right? So again, looking at the writing prompt, we are answering this question, allowing chewing gum in school. So again, you don't want to forget to have an introduction and a conclusion in your writing. So you might begin with something like, let's see, first of all, we want to indent by pushing the tab button, and we could say, let's see, chewing gum in school can be a difficult issue to choose a side for many reasons. Okay, so looking at reason number 1, right? So reason number 1 was that the teachers chew gum all the time. And we do teach big kids. And let's see, I was going to do that in red just because I like to color code things, but it is not a requirement. So let's see. First, teachers and other staff chew gum in school all the time. We also teach middle school students who might be more responsible, SP, than a younger learner. Okay, check for the first point. Point number 2, not every kid will tidy up with his or her gum. An example is my carpet. Right now there is a gum wad on my carpet in my classroom near the sink. Why near the sink? I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, let's see. Blue. Here we go. Point number 2. Second, and again, you don't have to do first, second, third. You can use any transition that you like. Second, let's see, what were we going to say here? Second, oh right, not every kid will clean up. Okay, second, not every, oh wait, what is second? Sadly, not, wait, you know what? I'm wondering if we should do something more like however, because we're changing to the no side now. So, however, not every kid will clean up after their gum mess. Sadly, gum has ruins our carpet in our classroom. Okay, so so let's see. Wait, what if we gave some other examples about where it comes from? So I know in the text it talked a little bit about how, let's see, ruins floors, we've got that one. Clogs drinking fountains. Okay, that's another one, and it's a really disgusting example. So I think it'd be more powerful than just carpet. Let's see. Gum can also wind up in our drinking fountains, clogging our drains. Yuck. Okay, so let's see. Point number 3, taking a look here, we said our school, oh that's right, the Glendale, California school spent $2,500 cleaning up a gum mess. Okay, so let's do for example, and let's see, I think it was purple. For example, one school in Glendale, California spent, let's see, we said $2,500 cleaning up gum mess. Wow. All right, so let's see. We talked a little bit about all 3 of our points. Now we're moving into our conclusion with our solution of, well, what if we let level 3s chew gum? Let's see. So we'll start with, lastly, we might have a solution of allowing level 3 students to chew gum as a special privilege. Let's see, conclusion. So we want to wrap it up. I feel like it needs something else at the end here. How about if we just did something funny and said gum is a sticky problem to solve. Haha, get it? Yeah, that sounds good. Let's fix some of our misspelled words here. Okay, let's check it out and see if we've got everything we're looking for. Chewing gum in school can be a difficult issue to choose aside for many reasons. First, teachers and other staff chew gum in school all the time. We also teach middle school students who might be more responsible than younger learners. There's supposed to be an S there. However, not every kid will clean up after their gum mess. Sadly, gum has ruined our carpet in our classroom. Gum can also wind up in our drinking fountains, clogging our drains. Yuck. For example, one school in Glendale, California spent $2,500 cleaning up gum mess. Wow. Lastly, we might have a solution of allowing level 3 students to chew gum as a special privilege. Gum is a sticky problem to solve. Okay, I think we have some really good information here in our paragraph. And so I just want to make sure that you take a look and include not just your examples, but examples from the text. That's a big one. And again, you want to take a look at your model that you did with your reading and use those details from the reading, the details from your specific examples to put into the writing, because that's what makes it 5th grade. That's what makes it middle school, not just, what you may have heard or seen in your life, but also text evidence. So good luck with this writing prompt, and I hope it goes really well for you. I'm looking forward to reading it, and I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.